Florida's Attorney General opening a criminal investigation into OpenAI after several crimes, including a haunting series of messages between a ChatGPT bot and the man accused of opening fire on FSU's campus. Capitol Bureau reporter Cody Butler starts our coverage.
Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier says the state is now investigating OpenAI and exploring whether the company could face criminal charges. The move comes after newly released chat logs showed the man accused of killing 2 people at Florida State last year asked ChatGPT detailed questions about how to commit the shooting.
If it was a person on the other end of that screen, we would be charging them with murder.
Uthmeier calls this uncharted territory and says it's not the first time his office has seen suspects use ChatGPT in crimes. And he says the state has to figure out where the guardrails failed.
Technology, AI, is supposed to support mankind. It is supposed to help mankind. It is supposed to advance mankind, not end it.
Uthmeier says they'll look at what safety policies were in place before the shooting and whether anyone at the company should have seen the risk.
We're going to look at who knew what, designed what, or should have known what.
Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Mark Glass says the technology is only as good as the people behind it.
Artificial intelligence is built by man. Man is fallible. Man makes mistakes.
OpenAI says in a statement on Tuesday it's not responsible for the crime. The statement says it proactively shared information with law enforcement and continues to cooperate with authorities. The statement went on to say that the company works continuously to strengthen our safeguards, to detect harmful intent, limit misuse, and respond appropriately when safety risks arise.
They believe improvements and changes need to be made. I hope they're right. I hope they're right. We cannot have AI bots that are advising people on how to kill others.
When state lawmakers return to Tallahassee next week for a special session, they'll consider consumer protections in AI. In Tallahassee, I'm Cody Butler reporting.